this question is directed to both of you. If the bullet fired by Ruby traveled front to back instead of left to right, could Oswald's life have been saved so he would have gone to trial?
I think that's quite true. That he, unfortunately, as probably any of us would, when he saw someone coming at him with a pistol, tried to avoid being shot. So he turned and presented his left side to the weapon, and instead of going from front to back, which it might have if, say, he hadn't seen the pistol, very likely could have caused significant injuries, but not fatal injuries. But as it was, when he turned, the bullet went in on the left side and went across the back of his abdomen and injured both of the two main blood vessels in the body, the vena cava and the aorta. And usually you bleed out immediately when that occurs, but as luck would have it, he didn't. And even that might have been salvageable, but usually not. So what happened to him and the way he moved cost him his life, I think. And we were able, though, to get down to the wound almost. Dr. Shires was doing the operating. Dr. Jones and I were helping. And Dr. Perry was there also. And just as we got down, just as Dr. Shires got down near where he might get clamps on those two major injuries, then Oswald, who had suffered a great deal of shock and his heart had been injured, he arrested. And Dr. Perry and I dropped out of surgery, opened his chest and massaged his heart for some time. And initially we thought cardiac activity would come back, but then finally it got flabbier and flabbier until it was apparent the heart would not recover.
I reviewed our patients that had a combined aorta and vena cava injury, went back as far as I could find the records. After that, we had never saved a patient that had that combined injury. And even today, didn't operate on it, I've seen two at Baylor in the last year, and one of them lived many, many days, but they ultimately died. He had, in addition to that, he had the diaphragm, the lung, the liver, the pancreas injury, and the right kidney. So he had all those injuries in addition to those major vessel injuries.
All from one bullet, because I heard you say a heart injury. I thought that I heard that.
No, injury from the shock.
A shock injury.
Not a bullet
shock
wound
injury.
in the heart. No.
Okay. So, but all that injury that you talk about from one bullet.
Yeah, and going across the back part of the abdomen like that.
Sort of what you'd do with what we call a shish kebab. He just got everything.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
While we were sitting there, the same surgeon came in, Ron Jones, and said, Oswald's been shot, and they're bringing him here. Will you come to the emergency room? Oh, I know my thoughts then were, well, I hope it's somebody from Washington who shot him. Nobody else from Dallas, because we had enough over the radio already about Dallas being a city of hate. And Mike and I sat there momentarily, or two momentarilies, or three momentarilies before we decided to go. But we did get to the emergency room in plenty of time. And we had a full crew, and they stood around the side. You know, we had the chest surgeon, a neurosurgeon, a urologist, vascular surgeon, and any number of others to start IVs. But we had plenty of time to wait before Oswald got there, because I showed you that picture. The ambulance couldn't get out of the police car, couldn't get out of the basement of the police department for the newspaper people around taking pictures. And so when he did get there, he looked just like Mr. Kennedy had looked the day before, except he didn't have a head injury. He's one that we should have resuscitated, according to my earlier thesis here. But Jack Ruby did a good job in where he placed the gun, right in the, as he put it, right against it. Anterior axillary line, about the 6th inner space, which went through the left lobe of his liver, through the diaphragm, through his aorta, through his vena cava, through the right lobe of the liver, and into the right kidney. We resuscitated a lot of patients who had an aortic injury with a gunshot wound or a vena caval injury, but I'm not sure we, to date, have resuscitated one who had both transected by a bullet before they were brought in. So his circulating volume, which should have been circulating, was all in his peritoneal cavity. Nevertheless, he had a chin jerk and he had a dying heart pattern, and we got him intubated and got, within 12 minutes, we'd given him 3 liters lactated ringers, 2 units of universal donor blood, so-called, had put a chest tube in and had IVs started, catheter in his bladder, and had taken him 2 floors up to the operating room. That was 12 minutes we spent in doing that, and started the operation. Had the abdomen open in that time. His wound was great. We did get his cardiac activities back pretty well, and then it started fading, and dropped, and then we couldn't resuscitate. Couldn't get his heart defibrillated, couldn't bring it back. Well, I guess it had too long a period of anoxia to his cardiovascular center, his respiratory center, and too much edema that we did get immediate results, but not sustainable. And so we pronounced him dead after an hour and a half.